about improvisation, which is in fact something we do in the theater. In this scene, Shirley Maffitt, Nancy, and Yella place two students who are very disappointing and one teacher who is very disappointed. Please join me in welcoming Shirley, Nancy, and Yella in Failing the Improv.
That there were 10 signed up for class today.
Ceramics was full.
Yeah, well, I really expected more.
This is the way it's been since God was in knickers. At the Delta Art Center, you got to know somebody who knows somebody to get into ceramics.
Well, when I was doing this in California, we had classes of 15, 20 people.
You don't like us. She doesn't like us.
Can I smoke in here?
I guess we're just bunk and stood up. I have you know, I do not live in a trailer, at least not since the tornado.
Yeah?
Is that funny? I want to be funny like on TV.
I wrote for TV. Everything on TV, including the shows, is not funny. More like Julius Caesar, only with more knives.
I suppose I don't know anything.
Oh, I'm sure that's not true. Well, I guess we better get started. Carolyn, the education coordinator, had to be convinced that a class in improvisation was worth putting on the schedule, which is another reason why we needed to have more people here. Oh, well. Now, I am convinced that improvisation is just as important as ceramics or crochet knitting or oil painting. I've had a lot of experience with improv in Los Angeles, and I know that what I know could work here at the Delta Arts Center. Improvisation is about listening and paying attention and being in the moment.
She has her hand up.
I see it, yeah.
So can I smoke? I asked before.
Yeah, well, why don't you wait till class is over? We're going to be doing exercises here in a minute.
Did you know that black boy? You know, he plays on that show, that nerdy boy, that show, Special Friends.
No.
He was a hoot and a half.
No, didn't know him. Now remember, improvisation is about listening. That's the most important thing.
Did you see that one episode where he's up in that hot air balloon? I saw that when I was in the hospital.
Yeah, now the reason listening is so important is because you will be doing scenes with a partner. Improvisation is scary in that way because you have nothing else to lean on. No lights, props, or anything. Just that stage and the other person. And that is scary. And if you don't listen, and if the two people in the scene are off in their own little world, then you will die on stage. Die.
I almost died in the hospital.
Yeah, well now, how does your partner help?
Me too.
I had triple pneumonia. Doctors thought I was a goner. I was ready to give up the ghost, but I saw my parrot, Charlie, in a vision. And he said, "Win, don't go toward the light."
Okay. Let me get back on track here.
What was weird was that he wasn't talking in his parrot voice. He was talking like that nerdy guy in Special $60. I hope that's not all.
Well, no, but you have to train yourself to say yes. For some reason, your first instinct is to say no. And that first instinct can ruin the improv. I've seen it over and over. And it's weird, but really smart people, otherwise funny people, do not get this.
Oh, well, it ought to be a snap for us then, right?
No. It's an instinct, I think, a defense mechanism that kicks in when we're not even aware of it. And that's what we have to get rid of. Okay? Let's do an exercise. Let's start with an exercise. Let's get in a straight line. Straight line here. Now, I am going to point to someone. They will say yes and their whole name. After I point to them, I will move towards their space in line. After they say yes and their whole name, they will point to somebody else and move towards their space in line. Ready?
What?
Say your name.
Say your name.
Say yes and then your name.
Yes, and then your name.
No. You need to say yes and then your whole name. Louise, followed by your middle and your last name.
Why?
It's part of the exercise.
Maya, I don't like my middle name, so I'm not going to say it. I'll just say Hun Hun instead.
My middle name is Louise.
Yeah, okay. All we're trying to do here is get you into the habit of saying yes. That's all. Louise, point to me. Maya Ship Maynard. Yes.
What?
We're doing the exercise. Say yes in your name.
Louise Coldwater. Yes.
Good. Now point to somebody else and move so I can take your place.
I have no voice.
Louise, point to Winifred.
Winifred Hun Hun Adams. But my friends like to call me Win.
Okay, but you forgot to say yes.
No, I didn't. You interrupted me. Yes.
Okay, that really didn't work. Let's move on. To create a scene, you need information. The two partners in the scene are responsible for giving that information to the other person. We call them gifts. Let's say I was doing a scene with Win. Let's say I were to say, Miss Weatherby, I asked you for those stock reports, and I don't see them on my desk. Miss Weatherby, I asked for those stock reports, and they aren't here.
Don't look at me.
Miss Weatherby, I need those reports for the board meeting today.
Whatever floats your boat.
Remember, let's stop. Remember that first lesson about saying yes?
Well, I want to be a game show host or a jockey or something other than a secretary. That's just stupid.
You have to go with what your partner gives you. That may not be how you like it, but that's the way it goes. I gave you a name, Miss Weatherby. I gave you an occupation, secretary. Those were gifts.
Well, it wasn't a very Merry Christmas.
All right. But there was a lot you could have done. You could, for instance, have said you spilled coffee on the report.
I don't drink coffee.
That was just something you could have said, an example.
That makes me a klutzy dodo bud. Besides, I am a secretary, and I never spill coffee. Never, ever.
The idea is you could say anything in response, okay? show has somewhere to go.
Maya, how come you quit writing for television and left Los Angeles?
When we can talk about this later. Let's start the scene.
This is the scene. Your name is Maya, and I'm asking you why you quit TV and left Los Angeles.
Yeah, okay, I get your point.
You have to say yes instead of no.
This is not improvisation. You are just asking personal questions.
No, we're doing a scene. Improving. Come on, you gotta answer.
I left Los Angeles because of the earthquakes and the mudslides and the smog and the traffic.
That's not it.
And the TV show fired me because I wouldn't write their stupid suggestions.
You said no.
Yes.
You shouldn't have said no.
Yeah, but they wanted me to write this story with a hot air balloon. And I couldn't take it because it was so juvenile. And then they got another writer, and the show won an Emmy. So I tried to go back to the clubs and to do improv. And that was hopeless because all of my partners were younger and smarter and speaking a different language. And I was lost. And then I ran out of money.
That's so sad. Too bad.
And I had to crawl back and live with my father, who thinks I'm nothing anyway.
Oh, Maya. We sire. Well, but what about my information? I need gifts. Who am I?
You are Win, short for Winifred. You love special friends, and you have a parrot named Charlie, who speaks to you in visions. And you are a secretary, who never, ever spills coffee.
See? That's dull as dirt. I ought to know. I want to be Cecilia. I want to ride horses and have a boyfriend who's a high-stakes gambler. And I want a man